kind of talk about, I'll start with Christian. Christian, how would you describe this show to someone if they've never seen it? How do you describe the show?
Wow, it's the toughest question.
It's always the hardest question.
Yeah, oh God. Wow, what do I say? It's about a small group of hackers looking to wipe out debt from society. That's what I say.
That's what you say.
Pretty, yeah, that's it. Just wipe debt. Get rid of it.
How would you
Two guys who cook meth in Albuquerque.
Did you say two guys cooking meth? Did you say two? Oh, nice. Good. Carly, what do you think? What do you think is kind of the reason behind why the show's so powerful right now?
Because it's so good.
Uh-huh.
No, I think that. Ooh, echo.
Yeah.
I think in this day and age, everyone's looking for something honest, and the show is incredibly honest and talks about things we're all thinking but don't say, or that we haven't heard on a public platform before. And we're all so imperfect, and I think people can relate to that, and all we see are these TV images of humans and them having this TV experience. And I think we're all really having human experiences and dealing with a lot of emotions, and we never successfully do a hack to begin with. We always fail and have to figure out another way. And there's no, like Sam always talks about, he's like, no one in real life would show up to someone's office and like profess their love. And how most shows do, and so I think everything is really true to human nature, and just to, I think everyone can relate to it in some form or another, and it's also just really beautiful and a compelling story, and all of my fellow castmates are incredible actors, so it makes it very easy to watch.
Well, it does. I think there is something about the show, unlike any other show on television, that sort of captures this kind of cultural zeitgeist of dissatisfaction. Everyone's dissatisfied and everyone's freaking out, and it feels like, Rami, would you agree the show is kind of about control? It's about Elliot trying to control himself and then society trying to control everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially this season, we really delve into that in season 2. But yeah, I mean, what we started out with was control. How can we really affect the world we live in? I mean, is technology, is it an asset or is it controlling us in a way? We're controlled by money, we're slaves to debt, as he says. Everybody has, this accruing debt that we owe. We've just hit every aspect of how, the top 1% are just, rule the world we live in. And what's fascinating about the show is you have, like you said, these alienated, disenfranchised characters that everyone can relate to, who are trying to change the world they live in, or trying to change their own world. And that question of can they comes up quite a lot.
Well, why does it, at the beginning of season 2, why does it seem like no one's happy with what happened? This is this thing that they wanted to accomplish, they did it, they pulled it off, and now everyone's miserable.
Right. It's real. I mean, and Sam Esmail, who's the brilliant mind of Sam Esmail, has come Mr. Robot. He wanted to make something that was pure and authentic and real, and when he talked about, an event like this, it wasn't all going, to be magical the next day. Things weren't going to, magically work out for everyone's favor. He had that scene in the first season where Darlene lets the dogs out of the pound, and it's like, who is going to take care of them? They may be free, but who's going to feed those dogs?
Yeah.
That sounds funny, I guess. That's the thing. We deal with this aftermath, this fallout, and Sam's big thing is looked at a lot of situations in the world where a small group of people have gone against, the norm and done something that has, changed a government or change the way people live all over the world. And he looks at the effects of that and sees like there are vacuums that are left after this. So I think the big question that he's asking is how can each and every one of us go outside of ourselves to do something special and actually have it have a lasting effect that benefits all of us.
But it does kind of seem like the whole message so far is that it's all pointless. I mean, even
maybe it is all.
Well, even Joey Badaz's character, when Joey Badaz's character is talking about Seinfeld and how he doesn't get it, it's just about nothing, and it's just sort of, which is an amazing moment in the show. It really, it's kind of saying like, well, everything's all pointless in a way.
Kinda.
I think
I remember during that I just got up and walked out and I said, yeah, what are we doing?
You're right, let's shut down Mr. Robot. What's the point, right?
Yeah, exactly. What's the point of anything? Portia, Angela's character has had such an incredible arc since the first season of kind of, it seemed like she came from this place of just sort of letting people kind of walk on her, and then at a certain point she was done.
Yeah.
And she's really changed and become such a, just that moment when she says to that girl, get out of my fucking cubicle. Like that is such a different Angela from the first season. So what do you think is responsible for that? And how have you felt her evolve?
I think Prada shoes really changed her life. Like after that moment, she took life a lot more seriously. No, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I've never been on a TV show, and I would have to say the coolest thing about it is that you continuously grow with your characters, but it's actually very challenging because even this season, there are so many moments where, because we were block shooting, which was tough. I would, shoot a scene from episode 5 and then shoot a scene from episode 8 right after that. And so it's kind of hard to track where your character was in those moments, and you find so much out while you're shooting. Sam told me what my arc would be, but while you're actually doing it and finding those moments, and that's when you really start to see, oh wow, there's so many differences. My relationships are so different this season with everyone. But yeah, the addition of these positive affirmations, I think that I have become a lot more positive myself. I feel very attractive and pretty today.
But is Angela, because it seems like they're sort of teasing, like, is Angela selling out? And what does that mean? I mean, this company that she feels responsible for so much tragedy in her life, now she's a piece of it under the kind of maybe false assumption that she could change everything, but it doesn't seem like she wants to change everything.
Well, that's what's really interesting about this character, and I think, the characters on this show is how layered and how realistic it is. Like, I would ask the audience, if you were in a position where someone said, hey, this lawsuit, it's not going to make a difference, and if you actually want to make a change, that as Terry Colby says, I believe that you can. If you actually want to make these changes, you have to work from within. Like, would you work there? And I think that I would. So that's what's really compelling is that, if you just take the scene with the Prada shoes and you isolate that moment, you go, oh man, this girl's a bad word. But if you see the progression prior to that, well, it says, please be aware that many
A bitch.
may be...
Oh, I already violated that. But I feel like if you watch the show, that's why it's like on Walking Dead too, where people are like, don't say the F-bomb. Like, you just saw someone's brain splatter out of their head. Language is not the problem. So yes, we should probably not do what Chris Hardwick did, and please don't, I'm sorry. But yeah, so it is that kind of constant struggle with how everything's kind of gray. Nothing's really that black or white.
Yeah, I mean, it's realistic. It's like people are not one thing. There's that moment in the first season, Terry Colby, where he completely demoralizes her, and then the next scene, you see him feel guilt and shame. And I think that was such a huge moment when I came home. I just thought, wow, what a beautiful way to show something evil. It's never one thing, And I had this moment where I thought, I wonder if he was in Angela's position at his age, and then slowly was kind of compromised by the system. And so I think that she's just in this weird place of, wanting to be productive in this environment, and honestly using this form of control, like this brainwash, to be able to, survive this dangerous place with Price and kind of subdue her emotions of, guilt for working there. And also, seeing somebody kill themselves on live television and then you know, having 30 days later, what are the repercussions of that, you know? I was interested to know what she was trying, why she's doing the affirmations
Yeah.
in the first place. Like, what's her need for needing to do them?
What do you think it is?
I think I know what it is, but I'm not gonna tell
Okay,
you.
fine. You know.
I want to know.
Should know.
Yeah, they're nice characters, and again, not to spoil anything, but nice characters don't do well in these types of universes. You know, when someone's just pure and all one thing, they really do meet horrible fates, which I won't spoil if you're not super caught up. But I want to. What? What do you mean? Do you want me to just say it? I wasn't gonna say anything. It's funny how I didn't say anything and you go, don't say anything. Now I want to say it. Like a second ago, we were all on the same page, but now I'm like, oh, now they're asking for it. Now I gotta do it. But I want to ask Grace about Dom and what it was like coming on in this season and kind of what, since we don't know a ton about her yet, how do you see her fitting into everything?
Well, definitely with Dom, what you see at first is not what you're gonna get. So she's a very, like everybody else, very complicated, layered weirdo. And I think she uses her work to cover up her own issues that she deals with. I see her as a sort of a bright light in a dark world. She's trying to find the people who turn the lights out. She loves her job. She's good at what she does. She has an instinct about who did it and why they did it, and she'll sort of stop at nothing to find that out.
She is such an awesome character, you guys. I cannot wait for you to see it.
Yeah. I'm very excited.